Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, ni donde yo esté, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. Estoy en mi otro estudio para filmar lecciones, ¿verdad? Okay, our lesson today is a response to a request from one of our co-learners, and he wants to know what's the difference with Yamo, double L, AMO, and double L, AMO with the accent mark. So accent marks are for when you write and for when you read. Accent marks are there for a reason. I'm going to tell you right now that there are two rules. I have an accent mark system that I myself created from A to Z, completely, entirely, solely by myself. And this accent mark system is flawless. It's in the Profesor Pablo ebook towards the end with hundreds of examples. You'll learn it. Most people that are professional and need to write Spanish, whether it be in an educational setting or a professional setting outside of education, many people struggle and never are able to learn how to place accent marks correctly. My system is infallible. I will teach you how to do accent marks, but that's not what this lesson's about. That's something else. You can go to the ebook, and if enough people want accent mark lessons, I guess I could do some videos on those as well. But let me just tell you, I synthesized this whole idea of accent marks. It's not like manna falling from heaven and they just land on a vowel here or there. There is a reason for everything, and it's very, very simple. Much like I've taken the verb tenses and have come up with the verb numbering system, I have the AB accent mark system, the Profesor Pablo AB accent mark system. There are two rules of pronunciation in Spanish. I call them Rule A and Rule B. This is common to all textbooks, teachers, instructors, educators talking about accent marks. There are two rules of pronunciation. I call them Rule A and Rule B. Rule A says that words ending in NS or a vowel, remember a vowel is A, E, I, O, or U. E, A, A, O, U in Spanish. Words ending in the letter N, the letter S, or a vowel, they're stressed naturally on the next to last syllable. And remember, a syllable must have a vowel. Most of the time in Spanish, you have syllables with one vowel. There are some syllables with two vowels, like in diphthongs, but we don't want to get into that. That's something else for another time. So remember that words that end in NS or a vowel, they're to be stressed on the next to last syllable, right? So that means that if a word ends in a vowel, it should be stressed not on that vowel when you pronounce it, but the vowel backwards, the second vowel back from the end. So if you look at this, we say llamo, we're stressing the A. Hablo, stressing the A. Llego, stressing the E. Bailo, stressing the AI. This is what we call a diphthong. It's two vowels working together to create one sound. Bailo, tomo, the stress is on the O. Pago, I pay, the stress is on the A. And canto, the stress is on the A. Words that end in a vowel, N or S, are supposed to be stressed on the next to last syllable. You might as well just call it the next to last vowel. Here's the last vowel, the next to last vowel. Last vowel, next to last vowel. Okay, now let's take a look at Rule B. Rule B is just the opposite. Words not ending in N, S, or a vowel are supposed to be stressed on the last vowel. That's why the word, for example, papel, papel. There is no accent mark on papel because we're not stressing the A and saying papel, papel. It's papel. We're stressing the last vowel. When you see words in Spanish, in written Spanish, and there is no accent mark, that means that they're following Rule A or Rule B. They follow Rule A or Rule B. When a word is pronounced stressing a vowel that doesn't agree with where the rule says the stress should be, then it's what we call a violator vowel, and it gets an accent mark. That's why all over here, this should be pronounced llamo, but we have to put an accent mark on it to tell you to pronounce it llamo. Here, habló. Here, llegó, bailó, tomó, pagó, encantó. Listen to the difference. Llamo, llamó. Hablo, habló. Llego, llegó. Bailo, bailó. Tomo, tomó. Pago, pagó. Canto, cantó. Now all of these in this column are verb number 3, present tense. And they're in the I form, the yo form, right? I call, I speak, I arrive, I dance, I drink or I take, I pay, and I sing. Over here, these are verb number 4, the preterite, but they're all in the he, she, the él, ella, usted, it form. Like she called, llamó. He called, llamó. Usted, you called, llamó. It called, llamó. He talked, habló. She arrived, llegó. She danced, bailó. He took, tomó. Pagó, he paid, and she sang, cantó. Again, the difference is this. Llamo, llamó. Hablo, habló, and so on. The accent mark is there because this word should be stressed on the A, the E, the AI, the O, the A, and the A. But it's breaking the rules, so it's a violator vowel. This accent mark is there to tell you when you pronounce the word, don't use the rule A of pronunciation. It violates rule A and it gets an accent mark. It's like a car speeding gets a ticket, right? If a word is pronounced not like the rule says it should be pronounced, it gets an accent mark because it's violating the rule A or rule B. So we're not going to get into accent marks. I can get into that, and it's one of my favorite topics. But just for our learner who needed a question answered, why is it llamo and llamó? What is the difference? They're both spelled the same, but one has an accent mark. Okay? Accent marks are fun. We have rule A and rule B, and we have a few other little things for the exceptions, but I teach it all to you, and you will understand it as well as you can snap your fingers, tie your shoes, and count to 10. Ok, es todo por ahora. Tengan ustedes un gran día. Estoy de vacaciones hoy. Vine a mi otro estudio para filmar esto, así que tengo prisa por llegar a la playa. Me están esperando en la playa, en la mera costa. Ok, tengan ustedes un gran día. Bye bye.